Mindset goes for everything.
Yeah.
Like if you're not an ambitious person, you will settle for anything.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You will settle for less.
For less.
You will always be somebody that just works for other people.
Then like now, I've had to like train registered managers. One of them was a nurse as well, registered nurse. Train them into that position.
A passion is something where, like, you know what, if you know that, okay, you're going to put in all your 100% today, and you know that, you know what, the money might come next week, 2 weeks, and you're still going to have the same momentum, then you know that, you know what, this is, that's your passion.
Yeah.
Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. I'm Linda.
I'm Primrose.
And I'm Akaya.
And this is Three Sides to This.
No, it's fine, please.
Hi, girl.
Hi.
Because this is
So how's your week's been?
I know.
I'm good. How are you?
You look nice.
You look bossed up.
You know?
Are you part of this podcast?
Of course.
What
Three
is
sides
this?
to this?
What is
She showed her business, like,
She
yeah.
looks like she works for Lord Sugar. Because
I'm here. Do you know what? I actually can see you, on the
Really?
Apprentice. Yeah, no, I can't actually.
you look beautiful.
You look nice.
Thank you.
I love your burgundy
this.
suit.
Yeah,
it looks nice.
love
I
it.
like your outfits too.
Thank you, sis.
Thank
We
you,
just thought,
girl.
I just came here casual. Do you know what I mean?
We came casual.
You
You
know,
came all
with the
dressed
trainers.
up. But okay.
Just
But
thought I'll
it's
make an
itchy.
effort. Why not? We're talking about business and mindset today.
Yes. And
Yes.
it suits you,
You
so,
know,
you're here for it.
Here we are.
Here we
Yeah.
Here we
are.
are. So, right, Kaya, how's your month been?
My month has been good, I've got a lot. I think I told you guys, like, tomorrow I've got an event happening, and yeah, it's just, I'm always last minute person, so I'm literally running around trying to find things and, print out certain things, but I think we should be good for tomorrow, so.
Good.
But it's been good. Just busy,
it's-
workshops and whatnot, so
Yeah.
yeah.
Another opportunity that's opened? Is it
Yeah,
another
so
door that's
it's
opened?
it's just another business event in Enfield that I'm gonna be part of. But I always take these, opportunities with grace, because it's just more doors opening. So yeah, so
That's
I'm
good.
looking forward to that. But
Another door has opened,
yeah,
which is great.
yeah. Do you know what? It's and it's one of those things. When you start, like when you start a business, it's like. And I think when you're starting from no experience at all, it's almost like you just going along with it. But when you actually start seeing it working, that's when you kind of think, actually, I've got...
The vision is coming
the vision's
to life.
come in, and then you start believing in yourself.
Yeah.
For me, I think when I started, it's more so like just, okay, it's my personal experience, and I hope people can relate. But when I start seeing people relating and actually believing, not to say that I didn't believe in myself, but like... actually seeing the vision. Yeah, it's always nice to see. So
Would you say that you are a go-getter, Kaya? Or do you sometimes have fear that, you might just want to do something, but you're scared of taking that leap?
hell yeah. 100%. You know what? Like for me, I feel like just even like I said before, even starting this, so for me, when I started my my CIC, it wasn't I didn't start it with a mind or like, a vision in that moment, but it was more so to just help people. So I had a vision of helping people, but I didn't know what it's going to shape. Do you understand? Like I didn't know where it's going to go.
Yeah.
But when I started seeing, and one thing I like as well is that the people have shaped the services.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So it's like hearing what people want and what people need.
Yeah.
And that's how, so for me, it's like, okay, I'm hearing what people need. But I think just putting myself out there, that was the first thing. And that's the most important thing. Putting myself out there and actually being like, okay, this is what I'm presenting, this is what I'm offering. And people then can see, they can relate. So, yeah.
Wow. So you've taken the opportunity, which is fantastic. I find that sometimes a lot of people are so much afraid of, taking that first step. Mm-hmm. Because when I think about, obviously, when I set up my own business, for instance, I just did it like that. I decided to leave social work to start my business because same thing, I just wanted to help people.
Yeah.
But then like recently, I've been also working with people who aspire to become entrepreneurs.
Right.
They want to start their own care businesses, but they're so afraid of taking that first.
What's the fear?
I don't know.
Especially for people that have worked in care. Because I think between us, we know a lot of people that have worked in care for years. That are so experienced.
And they take on 2 jobs, 3 jobs, yeah.
But what is the fear that you've seen from the people that you're training or the people that are taking some of these care courses? Why can't they take that next step to kind of like elevate themselves?
I think it's the fear of failure. You know, I mean, like sometimes it's not having enough information to actually start a business, especially a care business. You know, like some people, you can start a shop like online. You know, you just know that you just have to like put your products online. You advertise on social media and stuff like that. That's easy work.
Yeah.
But then like when you think about a care business, you're thinking about, you know, CQC, the fact that it is, you know, a regulated service as well. And as much as people sometimes, you know, most people have worked in health and social care or as nurses, social workers for a very long time. What I often find is that when I'm speaking to people, it's the information, that sometimes the information is not there. You know, how do I actually start? Some people, they don't even know how to register a company. You know, the little things like that. How to register a company. And the process that goes from company registration to actually, you know, trading, they don't fully understand. So I've heard of people who actually register the company and then it stops there. And then that company just lays there dormant.
Nothing. Yeah.
If you go on .gov, you type someone's name, you see, they've got a registered limited company, but it's not
trading.
It's not trading.
But would you then, so I'm just thinking of this, right? Like, okay, so if somebody's working in care and then let's just say they have all the skills, right? So then they have all the skills and you have people that are at the top, right? They're at the top and they could be like managers. So they've been in like you said, you know, they've been in care for so long, for maybe like 15 years. I remember I used to have my auntie, right? So she came to the UK and she's worked in care pretty much, you know, since she's been here, and she's had different types of jobs. And when you look at her, you can see that she's such a go-getter, right? And she's had this vision of just, you know, just starting something.
Yeah.
And she's always like, she's a businesswoman. And I can see that, you know what, she would be a best person to fit, you know, because she has that experience. But to me, I then think, okay, what is it? Is it because, you know, maybe they don't have the opportunity in the places to elevate them? Or is it because they are scared or they fear? Like, what is it? What would you say?
I think sometimes it's a mindset issue, isn't it? That I think we look at ourselves and we feel that maybe we can't achieve something, right? Or we look at other people who have started businesses, especially like, you know, business within the care industry, I would say. You know, for instance, myself, I started working in care when I was like 17. And I did home care. I worked in a supported living accommodation. This was a house owned by an individual.
Okay.
Right? Wow. So imagine like we're looking after 3-4 people and you could envision how much that person was making from this company. Right? But for me, I feel that that's where the foundation was set for me. But then I like to like look at, you know, my journey. Where was I last year? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I'll compare this version of me to the version that I was like a year or two years ago. Yeah. And I think, you know, just going back to what you said as well there, like if people are working in like healthcare, they can have like years of experience. Yeah. Right, they know they know like the systems, you know what I mean, how to ensure that a person is safe, you know, moving and handling. They'll understand how to do care plans and stuff like that. Sometimes you find that the people on the ground know more than the people that actually own the businesses themselves. So what I am doing at the moment is like supporting people who are actually working within the field to start up their own businesses, because it's like you've worked in care for so many years. So why wouldn't you take that lived experience, the skills, the knowledge that you have, you know, built over a certain time to actually create something that you own, that's beautiful. You're still giving back. Isn't it? You're still giving back into the community. So why wouldn't you like obviously take that
opportunity.
Yeah.
And I think I have to agree with you that it is a mindset thing of and it goes again deeper to like self-belief, confidence.
Yeah.
Like you already have worked in this industry. It doesn't have to be care, it can be anything. You've worked in it for so many years. Like what you're saying, you know, moving and handling.
yeah
You know what the Care Certificate Act wants you to do.
Yeah.
Even if you're working in Tesco or Sainsbury's, you've worked on the floor for so long. You have people skills. So what's stopping you from elevating yourself to become, you know, a supervisor or to become a manager? And I think it definitely goes back to confidence and self-esteem. Like the opportunities are there. But some people, they get stuck in being comfortable. Like, you know what? I go to work, I do my job, I get paid. That's it. And then like you watch other people elevating themselves from the same space that you're in.
Yeah.
Like for me, I worked when I was like 18, I was working in care homes, different care homes. And I moved from care homes to domiciliary care. Then I moved from there. Then I became a field care supervisor in the care industry. And eventually I said, you know what, I want to get into nursing or social work. Then I went into nursing. Yeah. And even till now, I'm still feeling like I feel like I need to develop myself.
Yeah. Okay.
So sometimes, yes, opportunities are there. But it takes you to want that. Yeah. It takes you to want to develop yourself. It takes you to want to say, you know what, Linda has got a care business and she's teaching people how to own your own business. Let me sign up. Yeah. You know, it takes you to take yourself out of that, you know, comfortability space, I think.
Yeah. And I think just Linda, like what you're doing now, I think it's amazing because then you can show people how you started, because I'm just going back to the mindset of people, right? And when they don't see somebody that looks like them doing something at the top, right? And starting businesses. Like you said, we have so much of our people or like, you know, people from Africa or whatever, where we've been in a position for such a long time and that's our limit. It's always been our limit, right? We've never really pushed ourselves. But when you see somebody that's at the top now and they've pushed themselves, you want to know, okay, how did they get there, right? How did they get there? How easy was it for them? Because you will see that it's actually everything that you know, not to say that, you know, they know, maybe they probably know more than you, but it could just be that, you know what, they took that leap of faith. Yeah. Do you understand? Yeah, they took that leap of faith and that, like I said, confidence. They were confident enough to actually be like, you know what, I'm not happy, or, you know, this is not my final stop. I want more for myself. You have to and when more. You see somebody that looks like you, that, you know, that talks like you, or maybe from the same background as you, you see what they're doing, then you will have that courage to be like, you know what, I can do what they're doing. Yeah, do you understand? So I think it's that, you know, it's that thing where just seeing people from, you know, that you can relate to. Similar backgrounds, and then you might then feel confident. So I love, you know, what you're doing now and how you're supporting women and helping women to start, like, because I think me and you were having a conversation one time where you said that, you know what, we come here and, you know, we're taking on all these care jobs, but why can we not build our own, you know? And because we might know more, do you understand?
That's really my passion. Sorry, I'm going to cough.
It's okay, sis. Go.
So, you know, and that's the reason why I started the care business school, because it's like I've got a lot of people that look like me. Yeah. I have, you know, I've been a best interest assessor where I go into a lot of care homes. You know, I've been in a lot of care homes around the country where I go in and I see a lot of staff who work there are Black people. We've got Asian people working there. Obviously, we've got white people as well who work there. And then you get to know people, you know, I mean, you speak to them and stuff, and they're quite interested in what I do. You know, you come here, we see you all the time coming to do these DOLS assessments, for instance. What did you do? How did you actually get to this point? You know, sometimes I've spoken to nurses before who say, I'm tired of shift work. Yeah. You know, how can I actually go off and, you know, do the best interest assessor course to do something similar to what you do? Because obviously for me, the way I work, you know, I've got a lot of free time now because I own a business, I do freelance work. Right. And it's like I've had to create the life that I want to live. Yeah. And it goes back to my children, you know what I mean? Yeah. I've always wanted to be like a present mum, simply because, you know, I'm a single mum. You know, I've raised them for, you know, many years on my own. And it's not always easy having
Yeah.
to like raise children whilst you're also juggling work. And the main thing that I want to do, I just wanted to have a bit of freedom, a bit of time where I'm like, I'm able to pick them up at school, you know, drop them off without having to ask for permission.
Yeah.
From
you know?
work.
Yeah.
That's another thing. And I think that's something that probably stops a lot of people from developing themselves. Because it's either that in terms of like the flexibility of like, okay, if I take a more higher paid job or, you know, a more, you know, higher position that comes with higher responsibilities, then you also almost have to maneuver how you're working yourself around your home life, you know?
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of people, when they hear somebody say, oh, come on, you need to elevate yourself, work towards something, you know, bigger, they almost think, oh, I have to go to uni, I don't have the degrees. And gone are those days now that
Sis.
you have to go to
Yeah.
university to be well established.
Online is where it's at. I'm sorry. Like you can find so much online now. So online courses. You can learn from, you know, for example, the care business school is online. Apprenticeships. There's so much, you know.
My daughter's just finished her A-levels now, right? And on Monday she had an interview. She's had like this graded interview for the past month or so. And it's an apprenticeship. And, you know, she'll be working for one of the biggest financial institutes if she gets it. You know, I do pray that she gets it, obviously.
Yeah.
But she's always said that she doesn't want to take that traditional route of going to university. You know what I mean? It's like you go there, you spend 3 years of your life at uni. And then after that, you've got debt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which is the
And
biggest.
there's a possibility that you won't get a job. There's a lot
And
of
you're gonna
people-
be paying that debt for infinity, like literally.
There's a lot of people that are spending time 3-4 years at university.
Yeah.
Especially now we have high unemployment rates in the UK.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people that have gone to university that finish and they are just at home. They can't
They
get a
just
job.
can't get a job.
Yeah.
A lot of people who studied law, they're not lawyers.
They're not lawyers,
solicitors,
no,
you know what I mean? They're
no.
not actually practicing.
Yeah.
A lot of people have done business management, but, you know, they're
Yeah.
still working in care homes.
Yeah,
And,
it's true.
you
And
know,
you know what? They won't tell you that the money that you're taking, you have to pay back.
Yeah.
That's literally another topic for another day. But
What do you mean?
literally,
Like,
the student loan, right?
no, you have to pay
No,
back.
the thing is,
They don't tell you that?
No, it's like, you know, it's almost like, you know, where you're not having a lesson about it. Do you understand?
You don't have
you're not
to-
having
How the payback's
yeah, how
gonna
to
work.
pay. So it's almost like, you know, when you get that money, because I remember when I got my student loan,
I was happy.
I'm telling you, like, I was gallivanting. Do you know what I mean? Even though I knew in the back of my head, okay, yeah, I'll pay it back one day when I'm like 80 or whatever. Do you know what I mean?
80?
But there's a
But
mindset.
that's
That's a mindset.
Yeah.
That's the mindset.
It's like, I'm going to pay when I'm old and, you know, nobody cares, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
It's almost like when
you don't
people
think about
take,
it.
these loans with
Yeah.
high interest rate, they don't even
You don't
think
think
like,
about it.
I need to pay this back at
It's
some
when you
point.
start seeing in your, you know, your taxes and your,
Yeah.
you know, when you start seeing the tax letters, that's when like, okay, this is real.
This is real.
Yeah,
And
so-
I think mindset goes for everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if you're not an ambitious person, you will settle for anything.
Yeah.
You will
Exactly.
settle
Yeah.
for less.
For less.
You will always be somebody that just works for other people. And sometimes you then turn into like a sour person that
Yeah.
you're just like, look at her. Like I remember when I was a student nurse, I had this man, I think he was in his 50s, and he was working as a support worker, like
Right.
a care assistant. And I remember I then graduated and I became a nurse, and I was on the same ward with him. And it would be so difficult to give him like instructions of what to do as a senior nurse on a ward. Because most of the time you say to me, do you know you're the same age as my daughter? You're even younger than my daughter. And you know, like respectfully, I wouldn't go back and
Yeah.
forth with him. But it's things like that. It's somebody that you see somebody that's doing something that you know you're capable
Yeah.
of. And maybe they're even younger. And then you look at them like, well, you don't even deserve to be there because you're younger than me. But no, I
Yeah.
have taken the time to go and learn and develop the
Exactly.
skills
Yeah.
for this position.
I've experienced that.
Yeah?
In London, remember when I lived in London for like 2 years? So I
2 years went really quick.
I didn't really live in London. That's actually
She
news
doesn't
to
even
me.
know that I live in
So-
London.
You, but anyway,
yeah, literally like,
she used to come and help me with the kids.
girl.
wow.
But yes, so you
So-
experienced that.
I got a job because obviously with social work, I was contracting with like different local authorities. And then I moved from Yorkshire, got a job in Hounslow. And then after that, got a job in Redbridge. And then whilst I was there, I started off as a social worker.
Okay.
But then because of my, this go-getter attitude, I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
I want to make sure that whatever I do succeeds.
Right.
At that point, the people at the top, they noticed that, I was really working hard and we had this special project trying to save money for the local authority. And they asked me if I wanted to step up, and manage the project with a project manager.
Okay.
So in essence, I was like a deputy team manager, right? Without the qualifications or anything, just because of hard work. I'd been working as a social worker for like 3 years.
Yeah.
And I was given this opportunity. But working with people who had been social workers for over 20 years, people in their 50s.
Wow. Yeah.
And I remember this man that I used to manage, and he used to say the similar things like, well, I've been a manager before, now you're having to tell me things that I know. You know what I mean?
And you're like, I'm just doing my job, sir.
I'm doing my job.
Yeah.
And it goes back to that mindset, like, obviously. And I think, the challenge, you're a young person who's really doing really well, but then sometimes you get opportunities of managing older people who are older than you.
Yeah, yeah.
And how do you
the
actually make sure that
mindset.
you stay confident whilst you're doing that?
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
And that can be very tricky, especially they're like your mom or your dad's age. And, I think for me, I was very boundaried in a way that I was like, okay, this is a job. It needs to be done. I don't really care how you feel in terms of your emotions. Like I've always been somebody that's very assertive.
Yeah.
I'll be respectful, but I will be assertive because I
course.
know whatever I'm doing, whatever I've done is taking hard work, and it just goes to even like our podcast, what we're doing now.
Yeah.
There will probably be other people watching this saying, do you know what? Not doing a podcast in a way, but I want to start doing this. I want to start, making content online. I want to start, speaking more about my experience. But what's stopping you? Do you know what I mean? And I always say in everything in life, you have to start and you can fail. But what you can't do is regret.
Yeah.
You can never live a life of regretting like, oh, I wish I had done this. I had opportunity, but I didn't.
Yeah.
I'd rather do something and fail and know that like I've got a bit of experience
It's the lessons.
from it.
It's the lessons.
It's lessons, yeah.
I remember I used to sell hair extension wigs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When I left London, it was during the pandemic. I opened an online shop selling wigs, right? And that didn't go well because obviously pandemic happened and people are not buying, people are not, everybody was at home. And I closed that. And then I went back to working full-time social work or whatever. And then I left social work to start a business with a business partner. That didn't work. But did that stop me?
No.
It didn't.
Yeah.
But you got experience.
I got
And that's
all of that. It was fantastic because obviously the business partner at the time, he didn't have any experience in health and social care. He had never done this before. So everything was me. I had to do all the policies, procedures, recruitment, and, but then that shaped my current company, TLS Social Care, because I learned so much from doing that. And then I was able to take all the skills and knowledge into developing TLS Social Care. And then like now, I've had to like train registered managers. One of them was a nurse as well, registered nurse. Train them into that position to understand this is what CQC wants you to do. You know what I mean? You just have to do your job and make sure.
You know what? I always say that the best experience is like learned experience. Do you know what I mean? Like literally on the job.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think just like just going from what Linda said as well. Like for me, it's more. Like I've had like different businesses, different little things, ideas. I started something, I think it was pre-COVID as well, maybe COVID time. That didn't work out. I stopped. But it's just that thing where little by little, I'm gaining experience.
Yeah.
I'm gaining experience. And that is, you don't realize until you're putting everything together. And then that's shaping what I'm doing now. And then when people ask me, I'm like, I just learned it.
Yeah.
I literally just learned it. I can't tell you how, I mean, I will do some training, but a lot of it is more, the confidence is learned by experience.
Yeah.
Confidence is something that you can't, you literally just have to, you just have to acquire.
Yeah.
You have
and
to
most
learn.
of these jobs are people skills.
Yeah.
Especially like going back into especially care. I think we keep touching into care because with your care company, especially into care, it's skills. You could look after your old grandma. You could look after your unwell parent or an unwell child. The sort of things that you do at home, making sure that they're hydrated, they're comfortable, they're safe, they're taking their medication as and when they need to, and groceries done, and all of that. When you're working in care, when you go and look for a job in a care home or in a hospital, they will ask you, what experience do you have? And usually people say, well, I haven't really worked in care, but I've looked after someone. And those are those
people
what
skills,
we call like people skills, transferable skills. So
transferable skills.
I was going to ask Linda, like, if there's somebody watching this and they're thinking, you know what, I have worked in care. It doesn't have to be care, maybe support worker for years. And I've always wondered how I can progress. What would you say would be their first step to do in terms of like just progressing themselves from their current position?
It depends what they want to do though, because for me, I think that you have to follow your passion. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm the type of person who likes to help other people.
Yeah.
I was talking to one of my youngest cousins the other week, and she says she's done a degree in engineering. Now she wants to stop that and go into law simply because, it's not her passion. Engineering is not her thing. So I would say that obviously find a skill, something that you're very good at, and turn that into income. That's the thing. If, for instance, you're a support worker and you have always wanted to work within the field and you like working or supporting people, just look at what you want to get into, whether is it social work, occupational therapy, isn't it? It's one of nursing or whatever it is that you want to get into. Sometimes it's like having people to mentor you as well, because what I do with the Care Business School, I provide mentorship. That's my role. I just support people to work from where they are, looking at the current knowledge and skills that they've got and just trying to develop that further into something that turns that passion into income.
Definitely agree. Agree.
And just to add to that as well, like for me, I would definitely say, so just something that you enjoy, but also like do something that what, if you're not making money today, you will still do it with passion. Because most of the time we're driven by money, and as we should, right? Because at the end of the day,
it's life.
It's life. You have to make money.
We have to make money.
But a passion is something where, like, what, if okay, you're gonna put in all your 100% today, and that what, the money might come next week, 2 weeks, and you're still gonna have the same momentum, then that what, this is that's your passion.
And that's the life of an entrepreneur, because it's like you'll have days where you don't have the money. You understand? And what keeps you going? It's the belief that, I don't know what keeps me going. I know that as long as I work hard, things are just gonna fall into place. And the difficulty of being an entrepreneur is that sometimes the money is there, sometimes not there. You know what I mean? And it's like, it's that drive from within you. That is what keeps you going. It's like, what is it? For me, the biggest thing is like, I want to try and make people's lives better.
Right.
And literally I can go anywhere, travel the world. That's my passion. I just, in whatever capacity, shape or form, I think I'm driven towards trying to make people's lives better. You know what I mean? And
that's it shows as well. And I think, like, just to say, it shows if you're doing something that you enjoy, something that you're passionate about, and you're just not jumping onto trends. Because you can see when someone is just doing this for money and they're just doing it like, because it's popping right now. It shows, like, for all of us, for the three of us, we both have lived experiences in whatever we are, we are doing. So having a business or something that you enjoy and wake up every day and you're like, oh my God, I'm so excited about this. You almost have to be excited about the life that you want.
Yeah, 100%,
That way, like, even when you fall short and the money's not there, you still have that drive, you know, to achieve what you want.
It's a purpose, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it's a purpose.
And that's why you call an influencer. No, seriously, that's what I was going to say. That. That's why you call an influencer.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because if you're doing something like, you know, for the better of the community on people around you and to better other people, it's like the money is going to come regardless.
Yeah.
At some point, the money's going to come. And when that money comes, it's sweet.
Yeah.
Because you know that, you know what, you've worked hard for that money.
Yeah.
And that money is always going to be like, you know, in the moment where you know that, let's just say, God forbid, something didn't work out, you know that, you know what, you can still sustain yourself in different ways.
Yeah.
And I think it just goes back to what you were talking about where, you know, you've done different things and that didn't stop you. And it just shows because it's your mentality and your mindset.
Yeah.
So it just goes back to that.
Yeah.
So,
I think it always goes back to your your mindset, you know, and sometimes mindset is shaped by the people that we have around us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's very important to be to hang out with people that are actually of the same mindset as well. You know what I mean? And this is the reason why I enjoy this friendship group. Actually, exactly. I love this friendship group. You know what I mean? Because we all like are driven, you know, we all are very passionate about things. And it's like, I know sis can be like up doing her own thing, vlogging and stuff like that. And, you know, it's just about being supportive of each other. You know,
and being around people that believe, because like going back to like what we're talking about, if somebody is working somewhere and they want to grow in that area, it's not good telling someone and say, oh, do you know what, I'm thinking of applying to be a senior carer in this role, or I'm thinking of, you know, starting my own care business, and then you have people around you that'll be like, you're not gonna be able to do that, mate. Because a lot of people would do that.
Yeah,
I've experienced it, sis.
I have, trust me.
I've been told, like, oh my God, you know, and sometimes it's family that do this to you. And the day I put it out, you know, when I was now comfortable enough to say, I am starting my own shit show and this is what I'm gonna do. This is gonna be my business.
Right.
Nobody else is involved apart from me. I had naysayers, right? Somebody who said to me, is it because of a man? Are you doing it because a man has given you the money? I was like, what man has given me the money? You know what I mean? I work like a donkey, you understand, to make things happen. And then somebody said, well, starting a care business is a very hard thing to do.
It is a hard thing to do.
It is a hard thing to do, but I'm very well driven. You know what I mean?
You see, the people that have started it, I'm sure they knew it was a hard thing as well, but guess what? They succeeded, isn't it? So, hey.
So you will be met with challenges in everything that we do. You will be met with challenges, but sometimes it's very important for you to stay true to yourself as well. You know what I mean? And try and get away from the noise, because that's the biggest thing. You know, it's like us starting up this podcast, you know. We just literally walk up and said, well, we met and said we're going to do this on this day. We're going to start recording. And we didn't listen to the noise.
But you know why? Because of our mindsets as well.
You know what I mean?
If we had different mindsets, this would have not worked. You know what I mean? But we have the same mindset of like, you know what, we want to succeed. And we know that we want to, you know, we have something to give back to the community and to people around us. And we know people can relate. You know what I mean? Like, we all have different stories. They're personal, but they can relate to other people as well. So,
So I think just on that note, you know, I would say that if instead of just waiting for opportunities sometimes, because I am being mentor, I've got a mentor, right? I've got people that actually do. I've got a mentor. Good. And sometimes, obviously, we you know, a group of us are being mentored on a week-to-week basis. And you'll be told, or put yourself out there. You know, make sure that you're visible. You know, if you know anybody who's got a podcast, reach out to them. I took the leap. I think there was a time when me and you were just talking like, sis, let's just do this together. Because for me, I don't always like to wait for opportunities. I like to create the opportunities for myself. Because if I create opportunities for myself, then I know that I'm in control of things. You know what I mean? Things are happening because they have to happen this way. waiting to be invited
Yeah.
into a room is not always enough.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to be the one doing the
do it.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
And
So-
it's exactly what we say. Like sometimes you have the knowledge in whatever you're doing, and sometimes you don't have to be experienced in care. Sometimes maybe you're somebody that likes cleaning.
Oh, of course.
You're so good with cleaning or with decorating and
Yeah.
interior decorating. You can start your own cleaning company.
Yeah.
All it takes is you sitting on your laptop, creating a business card, and then going around the areas where you live, dropping those business cards like in the shops, in people's houses, and you might
putting
start
it,
literally you might start with like 2 customers, you know, but you've started from somewhere, and then from there build your website, use the social media to advertise for yourself, and that goes for care. If you're watching this and you're thinking, you know what, I've been in the care industry for so many years, but there's no opportunities. You don't have to be registered yet, but you can also create, you know, a business card. Just make sure that you have the skills and advertise yourself out there. Like opportunities are there,
of course,
and they're just waiting for you to find them.
Yeah. It's putting yourself out there.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
And I think
agree.
for you, Linda, you've really done that. Like you've, you know, worked your way out. You've worked in care. You've built yourself to be a social worker. You've worked in that, and now you're like, you know what? I've got my own. You even built your own home care agency.
we start, you know, like when you talk about starting with one client, we started with one client.
How many do you have now? Tell us.
So currently, because obviously it changes, sometimes we provide temporary support.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So each month it changes. We've got about 30 now, I think, working from speaking to the registered manager. We had quite a few referrals come through last week as well. You know, we just on a revenue aspect, right? The first year we made 6 figures. I would not have imagined us making 6 figures, or, you know, it was quite a stressful time for me because it's like I was still sowing these seeds, you know what I mean, planting, doing all of this. And I remember the first income was like 500 and something pounds, you know, for that first month. And then like now we're working at 36,000 to 40,000, depending on whether it's a good month. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. So anything is possible.
Yeah.
Anything is possible. You just need to put your mind to whatever it is that you want to achieve, and then that's it, you know.
And just believe in yourself.
Believe in yourself,
Believe in your goals, believe in your goals, believe in your capability. You've got the skills, like everything is just waiting for you to put yourself out there. And sometimes it's not embarrassing to, you know, sneak into people's DMs. Yeah. You see someone doing exactly what you want, just write to them like, hi, do you mind if we can have a conversation around how you started? And, you know, just knowledge. And sometimes you might not have the money to sign up for the course, but Google is free.
And also like just, you know,
AI.
ChatGPT, hello.
ChatGPT.
Let me put you something here. When you pay premium, trust me. But no, just to go back to, you know, and I think just for example, like, you know, when you start something and you fail this, you know, the first time, I wouldn't even call it failing, but when you don't succeed in that moment, don't give up.
Yeah. Exactly.
Don't, because that's just going back, you know, Linda was saying. You will learn, you will get skills from that, whether that's for you in that moment. It could just be a season. It could just be that, you know what, maybe the timing wasn't right. It could be that the people around you were, you know, were not right. Or it could just be that you yourself, you're not ready. But if it's in your mind, because just going back to that, like for me, if I just put that to myself, it's like I had this idea. I didn't know what it was, right? So I didn't know, but I just knew I wanted to support people, people that look like me, but also that have been through the same journey.
Yeah.
And this idea was just in my head for such a long time. I didn't know how I was going to execute it, but it was just there. And because of my mindset, I just kept on, you know, digging and trying to find different things. That's when I came about. I didn't even know what a CAC was. It was just like, okay, this is probably the best route to go because it's like non-profit and I can get funding from it, you know, and that will pay me, but also support the services. And I just kept on digging and just learning and, you know, just helping myself. So I think when you start something and you feel like in that moment it's not working, but you still, you know, the passion is still there, just keep going. Keep going and find people around you that, you know.
Yeah. I believe in God so much.
Yeah.
And I honestly feel that, you know, not only just the first year, even like today, you know, there'll be months where we're really struggling and a door opens just like that.
Yeah.
And then it's like we've got an extra bit of income, not knowing that maybe 2-3 months ahead, we're going to need that money to pay for you know, maybe an office space or something like that. And I've seen how God works, you know what I mean? And for me, my business, especially TLS Social Care, I just knew that it was something that was just meant to work. And sometimes in my prayers, I'll say, well, it's getting a bit too hard, but then you've put me in this place. You know, you put me into this position. So can you just open something? You know what I mean? And having that prayer, that chat as well with God, it's really opened up a lot of opportunities for me. And Kaya, just going back to what you said, like, you've got, it's like a thought, or a voice telling you that you need to do this, you need to do this. And I would say that always listen to that, because that is where the special magic happens. You know what I mean? It's literally the special sauce. And for me, it's like your intuition. You know what I mean? It's like you keep on having something telling you, you need to do this, you need to do this, you need to do this. And that's what I have listened to. Not that I've got mental health issues. I know
telling you stuff. But listen, at least if the voice is telling you the good, you know, for a reason, right? So
it's the voice of God.
Yeah, honestly, I listen to that all the time, and this is, I believe in God so much, and I know that this business is where it is today.
Yeah, because of
belief and stuff.
And I think that is so beautiful, like to just connect that business with faith, you know,
100%.
Just knowing that even if we can have all the skills, we can have all the technology, but I feel like without God, relationship, businesses,
it's
whatever
impossible.
you want to do, it's impossible. And sometimes, like what you were saying, Kaya, you can try something, fail, but maybe you haven't actually consulted with God. Like, God, is this what you want me to do? Is this the path you want me to take? And if it is, give me the wisdom that I need so that I understand like what I need to do. Because having the skills and and not consulting him.
Do you know, I'm just thinking, just from what you just said, right? And I know, like, as a believer, I know that when you consult with God, everything is going to be so easy. It's going to be so easy. Like, guys, look where we are now.
Of course.
Look where we are. Like, we literally, you know, it's not like we woke up, but it's like, we sat there one day and like, okay, we're going to do this. And everything just...
And pray on it.
And everything just was smooth. And, you know, and that's when we knew that,
And God can also put you through situations where he will give you obstacles.
Of course.
Like I'm sure when you're, when you were starting your care business, not everything was smooth sailing. But then he also shows you that you will have obstacles that you will come across. But with him, then you know, like it's possible that you'll be able to know to go through it. So I think like anything is possible with him, and also just believe in yourself and having that confidence. A lot of people, I'm sure you've worked with people where you're like, you have the confidence, but why don't you believe in yourself?
Trust me,
to do this. Like even me when I was when I was mentoring student nurses on placement, I'm like, you have the knowledge.
You can
use
do
your
it.
voice, and you know in meetings. Sometimes people in meetings, you want to contribute, but you feel shy, you feel embarrassed, you even feel like, oh, maybe my voice will sound dumb or you'll sound stupid. Those things, they literally stop people from elevating, you know.
Guys, meet online, hello, but look at me. No, seriously, like, meet online. Like,
it's a very serious thing. Seriously, guys, like things like confidence, it's not just because people don't want to take opportunities. Some people, they actually don't think like they deserve. They deserve to, you know, take space instead of rooms. So...
Wow, it's been great, guys.
It's been good. Have you got questions for us, Linda?
Words of wisdom. What would you say to our viewers, anybody that's watching?
I would say when it comes to just going back to what I said before. So when it comes to you've tried something and you feel like, you know what, it's not worked. So you might lose your confidence in that point, because sometimes, and just putting that, you know, like going back to my personal experience where I started something and in that moment I was so like geared up. I'm like, okay, I'm doing this, and it didn't work out. In that moment I lost confidence. But when you don't have, and I wouldn't even say faith, but when you don't have anything else to kind of like, you know, to help you sustain through that, you know, moment, you might just be like, you know what, maybe this is not for me. Right? But if you still have like, you know, any voice or anything in your back of your head, any intuition to kind of like, okay, you still, even a 1%, right? Because for me, it's when I've tried different things in the past and they've not worked, I've just always known that I don't want to, not like I don't want to work for anyone, right? But I just find that I work better by myself, right?
Yeah.
I work better by myself. And so I think for me, that's always been what's been pushing me to kind of like, you know, start. And then I found different things. So even if something didn't work out, I just know that, you know what, I still know that I want to, you know, to work for myself. And for me, it's work-life balance. Because I'm thinking about my kids. I'm thinking, okay, I want my kids to see me present. I want to have time for them. And in that moment, so for me, that was what's pushing me. And I found my reason. Yeah, so just, you know, so if you have that, you know, intuition that you want to do something, even if something doesn't work out the first time, just keep going, keep consulting, find people in, you know, around that doing something similar to what you're doing, consult with them, and yeah, just keep going. Never give up.
Yeah. I think for me, I would say that whatever you want is on the opposite side of fear. So just going to like what, you know, Kaya was saying is, if you are passionate about something, if you go to sleep thinking about something, if you wake up and that idea is on your head, or even when you're at work, you still have that back thought thinking, you know what, I know I'm capable of doing something else.
Right,
all I can tell you is go and give that thing a chance. There is nothing wrong with failing, but there is everything wrong with like regret. So whatever you want to achieve, you can do it, but you have to believe in you. And just to use myself as an example, I failed my driving test 15 times.
Yes. 15 times? No.
Do you know what?
Really?
No.
Wow.
I failed my driving test 15 times. And I went again and again and again and again. And I knew that I wanted to drive. I was tired of taking public transport. And I failed because I think it's not because I didn't know how to drive. I did not have the confidence. Like I almost, every time I got into a car with the driving instructor, I would panic and I would doubt myself. But yeah, I'm an amazing driver, guys. I've been driving for 10 years. So, and
you know what I was gonna say as well? If the frustration is bigger than, you know, than fear. If you will do something. Trust me. So just believe in yourself, and you know everything you want, you get it. It's just on the opposite side of, you know, fear.
Yeah. And for me, one last thing I'll say, obviously, do not listen to the naysayers. Do not listen to people telling you that you can't do anything, because those people are not in charge of your destiny. And that's it from us. So thank you so much for watching. So much, just guys. To remind you to subscribe to our channel and to comment. We do read all the comments as well. So
yes, we do.
All right, see you guys next time.
We'll see you guys in our next episode. Bye guys.